Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is here by popular demand, I have to admit. He is a Classic Physique and 212 pro out there. He's got a popular coaching business, and he has a really popular YouTube channel. The guy I'm talking about, of course, is Greg Doucette. Welcome.
Hi.
Hey, this is our first time
talking. Happy to be here.
I got a lot of requests from you. People were texting me and emailing me and saying, you got to get Greg Doucette on your show. And I said, fine, let's get him on the show.
Yeah, I think that people like me being like really straightforward and honest, cutting out the bullshit and getting right to the facts. And they like my cats too, I think.
Yeah, so, I heard a lot of cats in the background. You're
loaded with animals here.
What do you have, like a zoo in the house?
Basically, we call it our zoo. My girlfriend owns a pet store, Pet Value, so we have 15 animals here. 4 cats, 4 dogs, snakes, sugar gliders. They're just always running around. So,
I love it. Do the sugar gliders kind of jump around and fly around, or is that are they
we don't let them out. They only come out at night. I don't even know why I have them, because I'm always asleep by the time they're up. So, it seems useless to me.
Yeah.
Girlfriend says you got to keep her happy. So.
Yeah, no, I'm into animals, so I can appreciate that. I have 2 dogs. I have a cat. I have 8 turtles. I have about 400 snakes, so I can relate to that.
Oh yeah, it's a zoo. It's a nonstop cleanup, pee and poop everywhere. So.
I know. I tell people when people said, Dave, now that you have kids, you're gonna hate changing diapers. I'm like, I've been cleaning shit up for years. I said,
yeah, it's no different. Yeah. For
exactly.
Sure.
Let's talk about, first of all, your bodybuilding. Let's start there. The YouTube channel is super popular. I watched a couple videos before, and I like your style. You're kind of along the lines of me. No bullshit. This is the way it is, and I think people really like that honest approach. But you turned pro back in 2012. Up in Canada, which really seems to be the hotbed of bodybuilding now. What's going on up there? Why is all these great pros coming out of Canada all of a sudden?
I really have no idea. I don't know why it didn't happen sooner, but I mean, we have a 10% of your population from the U.S., so obviously we're going to have less pros and less quality pros, but I feel like we're making a name more in Classic than in the actual bodybuilding. There's a few good bodybuilders, but it seems like we're not quite as big, but definitely have the shape, and so Classic is just where we're at.
Yeah. Now in 2012, you actually got the second pro card. Antoine Valliette got the first pro card. You got the second. You beat Zane Watson. You beat El Dara. It was a stacked class, and obviously those 2 guys would go on to turn pro, and they're good 212 pros now on the Olympia level. What that was the hot. I guess that was when really Canada started, I guess, nurturing the new talent, and now we're actually seeing the fruition of what was going on there. Did you realize how good that class was when you won it back then?
Well, I didn't really know. I mean, it's hard to predict the future, but like looking back, I was like, they were so good. There was a lot of great competitors. Like Henri Pierre was like in the division up, and he didn't even win. And then the year after he turns pro, and then there was Johnny Shreve. There's so many guys that were like right on the cusp of turning pro. So when you look back, it's like, man, they were really good. So happy to have won that year.
Yeah. Now you by your own admission have been bodybuilding for quite some time, since you said you were in the 12th grade you started. How did you get bit by the iron bug? What was your story?
I started training at 10. My dad bought a set of weights, and I started training at 10. I was into it seriously at 10, and then at 13, I'm like, man, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show someday. And he laughed at me because all I ate was like French fries and chicken nuggets and ate garbage all the time. There's no way you'll be able to diet. I was the worst eater in the world. And then I got to be about 17, and I was like, yeah, I'm competing next year. And I just hopped on a diet, knew nothing about what I was doing. I was eating 60 grams of protein. I dieted on pasta. I didn't know you needed protein to build muscle. I was like an idiot. But I entered the show and won. I guess I had decent genetics, and then kept competing year after year after year. Won a few national drug tested shows and what have you, and then said, hey, I want a pro card. So I started into the unnatural supplements, and then all of a sudden my muscles grew and quickly, and then I got a pro card.
That's crazy. And it was very hard for a long time to get a pro card in Canada too. It wasn't that you had to win a certain show, you had to win the overall. You won a couple weight classes, I believe, along the way, correct?
Yeah, like I won in my province of Nova Scotia. I won bantamweight, lightweight, welterweight, light, middle, heavy, light, heavy. Like I won every division the whole way up. But at nationals, I'd already won, like the lightweight title, and I kind of worked my way up. And I got my pro card as a light heavy, and then I just kept getting leaner, so I didn't really gain a lot of weight, but I kept competing with more condition.
Right, and obviously, Classic Physique when it came about was like the perfect. I guess you could say the perfect position for you to put your body in, because you weren't the biggest guy up there, but you had nice shape and you always were ripped to the bone. And so you had to say, man, this is perfect for me.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to compete in Classic the year before, but I took up bike racing. And so I got on my bike, and of course I get in a bike crash, break my elbow, my triceps detached. I had to get surgery last year. And then so the critiques are like, your arms aren't big enough. I'm like, well, geez, I just got out of a bike accident.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you expect? I'm lucky I'm even training. So maybe I lost a little bit of size in the arms, but the rest is pretty well where it was.
Yeah, let's talk about the bike for a minute, because you know what? I got into biking a few years ago, and I would be coming back from my house like after a whole ride, and I hit a speed bump like on my road and fall going like 3 miles an hour, and the scrapes on my legs, it was like a disaster. I can't even imagine getting into a bike accident going at a good pace. What happened? Did you get hit by someone?
It was -6 out, and I was on a dirt road, and I just hit a pothole and fell forward, and I landed on a rock.
Oh.
I wasn't going fast. I had the brakes on, so it's like these fast crashes, they're not the ones that usually get you hurt. It's the slow ones where you just slam on it. So the scrapes is nothing, but man, that killed. I remember I got back, my girlfriend, I'm like, I can't take my shirt off, I'm going to the hospital. She's like, just wait till tomorrow, suck it up. And I'm like, whatever, I'm going to the hospital, she won't come with me. And I call her about 6 hours later, the orthopedic surgeon's on the way, I have a broken elbow and a detached tricep. Like I couldn't even do anything with it, right?
Wow. Have you gotten back on the bike since then?
Oh yeah, I'm riding now. I ride all the time. I kept doing it. I rode 10,000 kilometers last year.
Wow.
It made dieting pretty easy because I was so lean from biking all the time.
Right. But it must make it very hard to keep muscle in your body, because it's a very, very demanding, type of sport.
It's kind of like running. So running really I did triathlons when I was a kid. Like at 13, I did triathlons. So I was into that whole fitness stuff, swim team, bike team, running, all that. But the biking it doesn't really tear down the muscle the same way as running would, because it doesn't have that eccentric load. So I find I kept muscle pretty good, but at the same time, I didn't need it because I was in Classic. I was already competing 8 pounds above the weight limit. So I could lose 8 pounds of muscle and still be fine. So I didn't really worry. I was more into it for the health part of it.
When did you decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and just basically tell it like it is, so to speak? Hold no punches, tell everyone what drugs I'm taking, what I'm eating, call out the other bullshit I see out there. What made you say, you know what, now's the time to do that?
Well, years ago, I used to post videos of me doing stuff like lifting Guinness records and deadlift and bench pressing. Like I always had this kind of like a strength video channel. Yeah. And then later I started putting videos together. I'm like, I'm going to educate people. And I'd spend 5 hours trying to edit, and I was so bad at it. Right. And so I just gave up. I was like, this is too much work and no one's watching my stuff. Then all of a sudden I do a video on the side effects of Anavar, and all of a sudden there's views everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I guess maybe I'll do more about that stuff. So I started talking about SARMs, and everyone's like loving it. And I'm like, well, I'll keep going there. And I'm like, well, I may as well say what I'm doing. And so here's what I did, and this is the side effects, and this is what I experienced. And then even more views. Then I'm like, well, I may as well tell them about how I train too. May as well do video on how I eat. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then I just said, well, I may as well keep doing it. And so I've kind of been learning as I go, trying to get better. I only use my little camera here, and I just set it up on a can of chicken noodle soup and just kind of was like, here, I'm talking. Now I have like the fancy camera and the mic and all that stuff. My brother's helping me do this. And so, yeah, it's going really good.
Now, did you find that that YouTube is demonetizing your videos if you talk about drugs? Do you find that that's a problem?
The ads are only allowed on certain topics. If I go too far, they don't let me monetize it, I guess you could call it. But most of them are perfectly fine. I haven't had a problem with it. Oh. But I don't really care if I make money from ads. It's not a big deal anyway. I'm just more into it for coaching, to be honest. So. Right.
Now, I have to take up something with you. I was watching a video you were doing about, I think, making mass amounts of like, some kind of protein pancakes or something like that. French toast, excuse me.
Right.
And
Yep.
you were using Sugar Twin to sweeten
Yes.
it. That might be the all-time worst tasting sweetener of all time. I didn't even know they still made it.
I love it. And I have nothing against aspartame sweetener. I say no calories, no problem.
No, but it's not even aspartame. Aspartame tastes good. It's like saccharin. It's like the old saccharin. It's disgusting.
I absolutely love it. I haven't tried sweetener that I don't like.
You're like my father. My father was the last person I know to use Sweet and Low in his coffee. I'm like, Dad, what are you using this crap for? It's disgusting. He's like, I've been using it for 30 years,
I don't know. Anything sweet I like. I've always eaten like sugary stuff, so my taste buds, I guess, are just able to use that.
It's not even sweet. It's like it tastes like battery acid. Ugh. Ugh. All right, let's go on to another topic. You have really this thing. You like to hunt down these guys that claim to be natural and aren't natural. What's that about?
Well, it's because of the viewer demand. I get thousands of messages a week, and people ask me every single day, is this guy natural? Is that guy natural? Is this? And I mean, I'm going to do a video if it warrants the demand from the viewers, and just because that's what they're interested in. I mean, I basically say in the video, who cares if they're natural or not?
Right.
But of course they're not. But who cares? Don't worry about it. Be the best you can be. Don't worry about what they are or not. But yeah, I did a video on is The Rock and Mark Wahlberg natural? I'm like, of course they're not. And it got 300,000 views. And I'm like, well, geez, everyone loves this video, so why not do some more?
Right. Yeah, I don't. First of all, there's no such thing as natural. I'm gonna do a rant on that. No one's natural because taking nutritional supplements is not natural. All right, so. Everyone is not natural, and why do you think that the general population out there that watch these videos and on social media, why are they so obsessed with this natural thing? Why do you think that they're consumed by guys who claim to be natural out there and become almost fans of these people? I don't get it. I'm missing something. It's always like the most controversial videos. Is this guy natural? Did we catch him? Why do people give a shit? I don't know.
They literally need an excuse for why they suck. That's why. They need an excuse. They need to say, well, if I would have done GH, if I would have done insulin, if I would have taken a SARM, if I would have done tests, I would look like that guy. And they're better than me because of that. And so it's an ego thing. It's 100% an ego thing. They don't want to believe anyone that looks better than them could do it natural. And if they would have done it, they'd look like Phil Heath. And it's like, no.
Well, you're probably right. And what's with the obsession with Steve Cook lately? Why are these guys all obsessed with Steve Cook? I mean, I know Steve when he first started. I mean, I interviewed him when he was doing men's physique the first year they started it. Why are people consumed with this guy? Why are they so obsessed with him?
I honestly didn't even know who he was, really. And then everyone's like, Steve Cook, and I'm reading Steve Cook. I'm like, who is this guy even? And he had like, I don't know, 2 million followers or something. Yeah. So they build up such a following, and then everyone's following what they say, and they're like, is it possible that he's natural? Is it? And it's like he's openly saying he's not, and they still ask me the question, is he natural? It's like, did you not watch his videos? I don't even watch them, and I know. Like, I don't know why they want my opinion on it. They know more about him than I do.
And I don't think that Steve Cook portrays himself as being natural either. That's the funny thing.
No, I mean, he's openly saying what he's taking in the videos, and then like, is he natural? It's like, just because he's not taking exactly testosterone, they think that it's natural. It's like he's admitted, I'm on Clomid, I'm on HCG, I'm on these, and it's like, why are you asking me? But if they ask, I'm going to answer. I give them what they want.
Because they're obsessed with Steve Cook. They're obsessed with Mike O'Hearn. Who's the other guy? Yeah,
Mike O'Hearn all the time.
Yeah. I mean, they're obsessed with it, but I think it's because these guys are good-looking guys and they're successful models. I think if there was an ugly dude out there who said he was natural, probably no one would give a shit, probably.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's an illegal thing in the country that you're in, you're not going to sit there and openly admit, I'm taking this. I tell people, I'm not going to sit around and say, oh yeah, I snort cocaine and drive drunk all the time. It's stupid. I don't understand why they would think that Mike O'Hearn is going to sit there and say, oh yeah, I'm lying, I'm not natural. I just break the law every day. Well, you're not going to say the laws that you break, so why do you expect them to?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think people are like, it's funny because I always never understood why people wanted to watch like the Kardashians, that the reality show. I said, who cares about these girls shopping? I don't get it. But people like to live voyeuristically through watching what other people do. People that seem to enjoy when I do stupid shit and go to the store and flush the toilet and shave my face. People like to watch the people that they're kind of enamored with, or that they feel have some kind of special knowledge. They want to know everything they do, and it becomes like that's really what TV is. When I was a kid, we watched Happy Days and Mork and Mindy. Nowadays, people watch, girls shopping on TV. That's what it's about.
It's the same with kids too. Kids follow these YouTube people. I'm like, 20 million followers. The person's 13 years old. They don't do anything. They watch them play a video game and they're making millions of dollars. I'm like, I don't get it. We used to watch TV shows, but now it's like you watch celebrities who are self-made, I guess. It's just a different way.
Yeah. Now, you're very outspoken about the drugs that you've taken over the years. You originally were a natural bodybuilder, right? And then what made you say, I have to switch? At what point did you say, okay, here it is? And what was the first cycle that you did?
Well, basically, I said, I can't get any bigger. So I'd done as many natural shows as I could. And at the end, I was like, I haven't gotten any stronger. I haven't put on any muscle. And I want to get a pro card, and I'm not going to get there without taking something. So, I'd done the natural show, won overall. There was no pro card back then. Now you get a pro card. You're in the natural, you win overall, you're a pro card. So I would have been pro years ago had the rules of now, because it was way, way harder to get a pro card back then. And now it's relatively easy. But, so I just hit my natural limit. I'm in my 30s. I'm like, well, I want to get bigger. It wasn't as fun to train when the gains aren't coming. So, I stuck to it as long as I could.
So what was the first cycle you took?
Basically it was test and mast. I think it was 400 milligrams of each a week, and it was 8 weeks.
And how much did you gain during that cycle?
It was at least a pound of muscle a week. It was probably 10 pounds in 8 weeks while dieting. Right. So everyone's like, you can't build muscle while dieting. And I'm like thinking, well, I remember being on a severe caloric restriction and getting huge by the week, and it was mind-blowing. I was like, holy crap. And getting stronger. I was like, this is insane. I couldn't believe
that's also probably because you had never used anything before, so your body definitely responded to it.
Yeah, and there was no SARMs or any of that stuff back then. Like, so now guys are all, they'll use Odsterine and Rad140, MK, and then they get on a cycle of testosterone. They're like, well, geez, I didn't gain that much. I'm like, you've already been taking PEDs. It's like, it's not like your receptors are so fresh and you're like, it's your first natty gains. You're already enhanced. But they don't realize that because they think if it's a SARM, it's not really a steroid, so they're natural. And it's like, no, but they don't want to admit it, right?
Right. Yeah, it's funny. People think if they could buy something like, with a credit card, that it means that they're not natural. Only the stuff that you have to get in the back alley of the gym is really, illegal. That's illegal is really a steroid. So you're natural as long as you can buy it in the store. I remember years ago when Rich Gaspari used to sell the original Halodrol. It was like, it was like a legitimate anabolic steroid, cycle you'd be buying in there, because they were technically gray market, on that, fuzzy line, legal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's crazy how it's worked now. And honestly, I think there's more guys using SARMs than steroids at this point. From what I've seen, SARMs are more popular because it's legal-ish, kind of. It's not supposed to be used by humans, but tell me how to use these natural supplements. It's like, it's an illegal PED. What do you mean?
Right.
But,
Right. Well, there was a very popular boxer who had a heavyweight title shot, Big Baby Miller, and he failed his drug test for SARM. I don't even know if he even knew what he was taking. He probably did. He probably figured, well, no one's going to test for SARM because it's not a steroid, right? And he lost the title shot. He lost $7 million guaranteed.
Yeah, it's crazy. And people ask all the time, they legit don't think it's banned. They'll be entering a drug-tested show, and they'll say, I'm taking this and this and this. And I'm like, well, you can't. You're going to fail the test, but they just don't care. They don't realize it. And it's like, no, you can't enter. You're going to fail.
Right. Well, I have people come to me, and they're like, all right, I'm doing the natural so-and-so. What drug cycle should I take? I'm like, bro, why are you doing the natural show if you're going to take drugs? What? I don't get it. It's a different story. I want to preface it. It's a different story. Back in the day, the World Amateur Championships in Europe were drug tested, but no one was natural in the show. Everyone knew. It was like window dressing because Rafael Santoa had this this fantasy that the Olympics were going to accept bodybuilding. So he did drug testing at the show. That's a different story. But I'm talking about when people hold these natural shows. It's called the Natural New York or the Natural whatever, Toronto. And they go in the show full blown saying, okay, what's the maximum steroids I could take and GH and this and that and this and when do I have to stop? I mean, I could tell you all how to do it, but why do a show if you're going to take drugs? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, they just want to win. It's just an ego thing. They need an excuse. They can't beat guys on steroids like me, so then they go in a show against guys that aren't on steroids because then they can win.
And they still don't win. And they still don't win, these guys.
They forget it's still a lot of genetics, and it's a lot of hard work. If you got great genetics, you're going to look good no matter what. All you got to do is get shredded. Anyone can get shredded. It's having big muscles that's hard.
I think legitimately there are very few people in professional bodybuilding that ever competed naturally. I think Ronnie Coleman was definitely one of them. I think Kai Green was one of them. And I don't even know if Kai was 100% naturally. I think he was pretty close to it. But Ronnie definitely in his beginning of his career was 100% natural.
Yeah, I also agree. I think, and people say there's no possible way, but I'm like, but then he put 50 pounds of muscle on after.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if he was already enhanced, by the time you turn pro, you're almost at your limit anyway, and you can't gain much more. But if you turn pro at 200 and all of a sudden you're 250, good chance that he started after,
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I always say, the guys that are Mr. Olympia now would probably be Mr. Olympia if there was no steroids around. And Ronnie probably would have been for 25 years Mr. Olympia if there was no steroids or anything like that around.
Yeah, I've told a lot of viewers that on my channel. I'm like, look, every single IFBB pro, if they were natural, would look way to hell better than you do. Just accept it. They all have great genetics. Take the steroids out, and they're still freaks. Right. They're still amazing. Phil Heath without anything is still going to kick my ass even on steroids. So, I just think people are just looking for an excuse to why they're not as good.
Right. Now, you're 43, Greg. You've done 55 shows. That's like Milo Sarcev territory. Is that like unfathomable to you when you think back at how many competitions you've actually entered? It's amazing to me.
Well, it's definitely a lot, and when I got to about 40, I was like, geez, I've been competing a lot, and I started looking back, and you write down the shows you've done, and it's a lot. But honestly, I don't see me stopping. I mean, I'm 43, but I can't see why I can't do it in my 50s. Now that there's Classic. When there was only the 212, I was like, I don't know if there's much point, because for my health at my age, just trying to keep that size just to get 10th place, I was like, But Classic, it's healthier. I enjoyed learning how to do a vacuum pose and actually did a good one where, I couldn't even do a vacuum pose, and I just practiced a few times, and then all of a sudden now I'm good at vacuums. So it's a new challenge. It was fun. I can do my cardio. I can be active, do sports. My cycles are 3 times smaller than they used to be, so it's much healthier, and so why not keep going? And be in my 50s, I'll still be doing it.
Yeah, no, you look great. I'm looking at your pictures on your Instagram. You look phenomenal. What is a typical cycle now you would use to get ready for a show?
I actually did a video on my last cycle to do my Classic show, but it was, I can't even remember exactly, but I did Test and Mastrone and Primo for injectables at 400 of each a week, basically. I mean, I went through it in detail on my channel there. But I did a bit of VAR, like 20 to 40 milligrams. I started the cycle. I was doing some various SARMs, and then I just switched it up to Anavar. I used Primo at the end. I used Arimidex, and I switched to it would take me 30 minutes to go into detail.
Right, so it was complicated. You made it very complicated, the whole process.
It's an advanced protocol, but it's not in high doses. The dosages were 3 times left, where I used to do like 700 milligrams of Tren and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like that's the big difference.
That's a lot of Tren.
And the hero and all, the harsher things where you have insomnia and you want to shoot yourself. So.
Greg, how often do you make videos now and put them up on YouTube? Are you doing them on a daily basis, weekly basis? 5 videos per week, I pretty much do. Oh, that's good.
Between that and coaching, I'm working like 10 hours a day.
Yeah,
so it's
it.
pretty active. Yeah,
I know all about it. I do it myself. What do you say? Where do you get your ideas for your topics for your channel?
I would say 50% come from viewers, and then the other 50% I'm just watching a video and I'm like, what is this guy talking about? And then I just say, I got to do a video on this.
Right.
So it just kind of pops in my head. Like Kenny Ko had said he put on 20 pounds of muscle in a week. I'm like, what? Of course he didn't. So I'm going to post a video on this, explain how much muscle you can gain, because people actually think you can do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's water. You know what I mean? Like, oh, DEXA scan proved. I'm like, you can fool any DEXA scan. Just dehydrate yourself and rehydrate yourself. It's going to think you put on a massive amount of muscle.
Right. You know, I'm glad you said that, because you know what? I have a lot of clients that will send me their DEXA scan results. I'm like, they're like, this is the most accurate. I said, no, the most accurate assessment of your body fat levels and your muscle are the mirror and the pictures that you send me. I said, that's the most accurate. The DEXA scan is bullshit, because you have to put your height and weight into the calculation. So you've right off the bat, it's skewed.
You have to put your height and weight and age and do it. I did a body fat test. I was about a few days after the show. I was like 5%. It came back 10.8. Another guy, he stood on it, he was 4.7, and he was probably 10.8, and I was probably 4.7. Right. He was a taller guy. So this is 10.7. I got striated glutes. I'm like, okay.
We are at an age where people love to be evaluated by computers and told, you know, how great they are, right? I mean, isn't that really it? We want to be validated by our blood work. We want to be validated by these scans. We want to be validated by social media people. We want to be liked. We want to be followed. And if we don't get that validation, we feel depressed. And if we get the validation, we think we're the shit. You know, that's the way it works now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People love to brag. Oh, I'm 6% body fat. And then they send me a picture and I'm like, dude, you're 14%. If you're 6, I'm -6.
Right.
Like,
right.
You know, you got 20 pounds to lose, 6%. You're only going to get to 4 if you're lucky. How is this possible?
My body fat dropped as I lost muscle, which is pretty funny if you think about it, you know. Now when I go for these tests, people will scan you, because I'm actually a normal size now for my height. My body fat has gone down, and my and all the assessments of my body are so much better, because it's based on, once again, a mathematical formula, which is ridiculous, you know.
Oh yeah, all the machines suck, and I hate it. I'd rather a client send me a picture and I'll say, this is your percent. Right. It's more accurate than the test. Me guessing at a picture is more accurate. How stupid is that? I
have people send me pictures. They try to explain away the picture. Well, I wanted to say, I said, don't explain anything. I've looked at 4 million pictures over the last 30 years. I know what I'm looking at. I know what is water. I know what is flat because you woke up in the morning. I know when your eyes are crusted shut. Why that? You don't have to explain anything to me. Just send me the fucking picture. I said, I'll interpret it. Fine. Trust me. And if not, I'll make you do a video for me. But look, we're at a great age, because someone like yourself or me, we can make a great living coaching people and helping them to get into shape, and we can do it at our own leisure on the internet. We don't have to see people in person all day long, which obviously gives us the ability to work with a lot more people. And we can then use social media, YouTube, to help really educate people as to what's going on. And if people find that they resonate with you, like a lot of people do, you get a lot of clients. And I think it's great. It's like you have your own business, you know?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. I until YouTube, my clients were 95% Canadian. Yeah. Now it's 95% non-Canadian.
Wow.
It's completely shifted. It's just, it's amazing. I love coaching people around the world. You have to learn so much about what different countries, the laws, the legality, of different things. Hormone replacement doctors and what they prescribe in different countries are totally different. It's amazing to see how every country has different kind of trends, and they all do the same thing. Every country's the same. The U.S., the doctors all do the same thing. Other countries, the same thing. It's really weird, and it's different from Canada. So
yeah, much different. I know everyone always says how great Canada is great. They get free healthcare, but every Canadian I talk to hates the fact that they have to go to Canadian doctors, because you can never get an appointment. If you need something done, you got to wait 6 months. So I mean, would you rather pay for your health insurance than have socialized medicine like you do?
I would way rather pay. I'm sitting here on my shoulder. 13 days from Worlds, where I broke the world record in the bench, and I busted up my shoulder. I can't lift it. I get a cortisone shot, and then I was able to get the record. And then I haven't been able to bench press since. It's been almost 2 years. And I go see the surgeon. Yeah, we need to do surgery. We need to cut out here, put here, and do this, and this is wrong, and this is torn. It's almost 2 years he hasn't called me back.
Oh, my God.
It's free, but I don't get it. And when I had my hip surgery, FAI, femoral acetabular impingement, camp type, I had to get surgery there. I had to wait a year, and now my left hip has the same thing, and it's been 2 years, and I'm on some wait list to get that done, and it's just 2 years. Imagine if it was super serious, So I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother fixing my shoulder, but 6 months I couldn't do that. So, but it kind of heals itself on its own.
Well, maybe that's their strategy. They make you wait so long that you actually heal yourself. You don't need the surgery.
Yeah, it's free. We just wait till you die and then you get it. I'd rather pay the whatever thousands of dollars, get the MRI done, rather than wait 6 months to get it done for free.
Sure.
Just give it to me now. I mean, we're being taxed on it anyway. We have to pay so much tax everything you buy. So,
You're right.
It balances out anyway.
Yeah. Well, Greg, congratulations on your success on YouTube, and hopefully we'll see you back on an IFBB Pro stage again in the future. And keep doing what you're doing. People seem to like it. I like your energy. I like your mindset, and I think that you're going to be very successful.
Thanks. I definitely will be competing next year. I still haven't made top 5. I can't quit till I get a top 5.
There you go. You got that bucket list. You got to check it off.
Exactly.
Then you'll want to go to the Olympia after you get top 5.
You got to get top first to get to the Olympia. One thing I'm not is unrealistic. And when people are like, "You're going to win the show," I'm like, there's 0 chance I can win this show. Oh, you have no confidence. No, I know who's competing. I'm like, I might get 5th maybe, and I got 10th. So, it's not like I try less, but I just am realistic. So 5th maybe someday, hopefully.
Well, good luck, and keep us updated. If you ever want to come back on, you got something to talk about, you want to rant about something, we're always open to having you back.
Oh, awesome. All I do is rant, so yeah, anytime.
All right, guys, and that's going to take us to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.